That's right. Historic Lambeau Field, Green Bay, Wisconsin. It's Thursday Night Football tonight, and we'll get out there in just a minute for the latest on the Eagles-Packers tilt. As we say, not top of, but middle of the Thursday to you. Matt Money Smith here on a fine football Thursday, no less. Again, we'll sift through a scad of subjects surrounding that showdown in Green Bay between the Pack and Eagles in a second. But a quick couple two-tree notes, as they like to say up there in Wisconsin. Melvin Gordon returns to the Chargers. He will make his way to their Costa Mesa camp. Tom Brady practice limited all week long with a physical Bills team waiting for him in Orchard Park. And Hall of Famer Larry Zonka going to join us live a little bit later to talk about these Legends programming that we are going to have for you on NFL Network, celebrating the 100th season of NFL football. But let's make our way out to the glorious green fields. And by green fields, I mean, well, the turf inside of Lambeau. There in Green Bay, it is Stacey Dales. Stacey, you have an Eagles team that has a record they don't like, an injury bug that doesn't seem to be going away. What is sort of the state of the Eagles as they get ready for this one?
Absolutely, Matt. Welcome to windy Green Bay, by the way. Yeah, the injury bug has really hit this team early. They haven't started off 1-2, the Philadelphia Eagles, since 2015. And so they're not accustomed to this territory. And it's part of it is the injuries. But the good news, running back Corey Clement is expected to play today despite the shoulder injury. We didn't see him last week. He's especially important in special teams arena. And then Kamu Grugier-Hill, the fourth-year linebacker, he sustained a bit of a knee strain during training camp. He had a fantastic training camp. This will be his first game back. That will be huge for this defense. The message really from Doug Peterson, Matt, is we're a really good football team. We are literally 1, 2, 3 plays away from possibly being 3-0, at the very least being 2-1. And so he's asking his team to stay the course. The spirits are high. They know they have to bring their A game, though, here to Green Bay against a 3-0 Packers team.
The wind, it wreaks havoc on the hair, but it's good for the soul. Toughens up your skin a little bit. Speaking of tough, the Packers are 3-0. I've got a feeling they're feeling pretty good going into this one.
They're feeling really good. You know what Aaron Rodgers said this week? We feel 3-0. And that's a huge deal because, well, think about 2015. That was the last time this team started 3-0. And by the way, every year the Packers have started 3-0. They have made the playoffs. So that is their goal, to get back to that place. But we're going to keep our eye on Zadarius Smith. The outside linebacker came up with a bit of a knee injury. Remember, he had the final sack to close out the Denver Broncos win this past Sunday. And so we're going to track that questionable status. And then also with the linebacker group, Kyler Fackrell, he's got a bit of a shoulder injury, and he's very important. He quietly had 10.5 sacks a season ago and is huge in terms of depth for this linebacker group. But as I mentioned, Aaron Rodgers, very pleased, very excited with the 3-0 record, and they want to build on it. They want to head into this weekend, get a little more rest with a 4-0 record. They're feeling pretty confident right now, these Packers.
Well, no doubt. We'll have a lot more from that football sanctuary in Stacey Dales as we get ready for this Thursday nighter. Good luck with the win by the time we check in with you next. Eagles-Packers tonight at 8 p.m. Our coverage begins with NFL Game Day kickoff at 6 p.m. Eastern. All right, we set the headlines before we shifted to Stacey, so let's bring in what's new right now in our NFL insider, Ian Rappaport. As Melvin Gordon has ended his holdout, he will report to the Chargers facility in Costa Mesa today. So, Ian, with that news that you broke yesterday, what was behind this? Why did Melvin Gordon decide to end his holdout today going into Week 4?
Well, first of all, worth noting, Melvin Gordon is officially in the building, so the holdout is now over. It lasted 3 games in the regular season, expected to last a 4th because he's not expected to play this week. But as far as why, I actually got a text last night from Melvin Gordon that said one word: teammates. That basically says it all. He missed his guys. He missed playing. He missed being in the locker room. The business point was clearly made. He also, in his mind, limited some injury risk, basically cutting off 4 games this season that he could possibly be injured in as he heads toward a potential year in free agency in 2020. So that is what he did. He missed his teammates. He wanted to be back. He is not going to get a contract extension. That's something that Tom Telesco has said very clearly. Not going to happen. So he's going to play on his old deal. But then, of course, there is the matter of the fines. Could be anywhere from $2 to $3 million in fines, plus lost income. Remains to be seen whether the Chargers were forgiving on any of that. At this point, we do not know the answer. What I do know is typically the Chargers are a very stringent organization when it comes to fines. Anyway, Melvin Gordon is back, and this holdout now is kind of in the past.
All right, you said it is official. He is back. Thank you, Ian.
What up, y'all? Uh-oh. With his shoulder pads and yeah! Yeah! What they do?
Out to Costa Mesa, where there is a celebratory mood in that locker room. Omar, Melvin Gordon is in the building. What's been the reaction in those parts?
Well, he arrived around 8:15 this morning. You saw Keenan Allen's Instagram post there, celebratory in nature in that locker room. And I think that's the general reception here for the Chargers and the arrival of Melvin Gordon. Coaches and players I spoke to last night, all looking forward to seeing him. The only sense of frustration I got was, why couldn't he have joined the team maybe Tuesday night to help him with this game? But Ian sort of answered that just a moment ago. Now, we are expecting to see Gordon out at practice this afternoon. Now, remember, he missed most of the OTA session. He did come back for minicamp. He hasn't been here during training camp. Obviously missed the last few weeks of the season, or first few weeks of the season. Still the same system. It's not like he has to learn a new playbook, but whatever tweaks and adjustments they've made, he hasn't been there for. So he does have that little bit of catching up to do. They also have to evaluate the sort of playing shape he's in. So over the next few days, they'll evaluate that. Not likely to see him in Miami, but expect to see him in Week 5 for the Chargers and Melvin Gordon's reunion.
All right, no doubt as things get settled there, more and more folks show up. We'll get back with you, Omar, and get the latest from Chargers camp I shouldn't say camp, Chargers practice facility as they get ready to head to Miami. Tom Brady has been limited in 3 of his last 4 practices. They are listing it as a calf situation, but Tom Brady alluded to a little something else.
You know, football is it's a contact sport, so I wouldn't say I'm a spring chicken anymore. So I'm trying to just, feel as great as I can and see how it goes tomorrow.
All right, so what's new right now? Back with our Ian Rappaport. Anything to be concerned about here, Ian?
Nothing really to be concerned about. Tom Brady is expected to play as he did last week in what is suddenly a huge game on Week 4. But it is worth noting that the practice schedule for Tom Brady has been a little different this year as it was in years past. He's been limited, as you mentioned, over the course of the past couple weeks. Either way, it seems to be getting fewer reps than he did in the past, which may be why the Patriots brought on Cody Kessler, veteran quarterback with starting experience. They brought him on as the 3rd quarterback this week, not really to push Jarrett Stidham. He seems fine, sort of entrenched there, but more just to take some of the practice reps off Stidham. Last week, when Brady did not practice fully, it was all Stidham trying to do the starters, trying to run the scout team. That's hard for anyone, let alone a rookie. So this was basically the Patriots taking some off Stidham's plate, some off Brady's plate, bringing in the 3rd quarterback to help.
Now, you know better than anyone, Ian. Players prefer not to put a timeline on return from injury. So what is the latest, if we can glean anything from what Drew Brees has been talking when it comes to that thumb injury?
Well, what he would like to do is become the first quarterback to beat the 6-week mark for someone who had an internal brace. And look, Drew Brees had several different options when it came to doing his thumb surgery. What he chose was more an internal stabilizing method than anything else. He wants to beat 6 weeks back. He wants to be back before the team anticipates. He was in favor of the Saints not putting him on injured reserve. That would have taken him off the field for 8 weeks. So Brees is going to push like crazy. But I also know he is 40 years old, and the team is going to make sure he's out of harm's way. If Bridgewater keeps this thing stabilized, then they could be more patient with Drew Brees, even if maybe he'd like to be on the field quicker. Yeah, certainly helps to have Teddy B coming off that big victory in Seattle. Thank you, Ian. And how about our NFL Network programming schedule today? We got Thursday Night Football, which means at 3 p.m. Eastern, we get you Thursday Night Football First Look, followed by Fantasy Live. Make sure you get that lineup set with a Thursday Nighter kicking off. If you need to put any Eagles or Packers in or out of your lineup, then it's Game Day Kickoff at 6, followed by Thursday Night Football. Eagles 1-2, a drop pass, preventing them from being 2-1 versus the Packers. And, of course, after the game, we get you all that great TNF postgame and NFL Total Access. When we return, Prescott's peak level is only surpassed by Patrick Mahomes' continued preeminence at the position. We'll examine if each continues his run on the road next.